How's it going? It's Friday, it's beautiful here, and it's almost the weekend. I have a really light day in terms of work. My voice is still a bit bad from talking to government officials all of yesterday, so I'm so exhausted. I know there's a 10x today. I know the details on Discord, but I want to talk you through the champions, whether it's worth it, and I'm gonna try and consider you both from end game kind of level all the way to early game level. So here's my advice in general, right? So you can think also for yourself about these kind of problems in an informed way, right? So generally avoid 10x unless you're extremely end game. There may be champions in 10x which are absolute must-haves that they will absolutely transform your account, but the odds of 10x is fundamentally based on 1x, as you know, and as many content creators keep reminding you, it's not worth it. And one of the greatest challenges is that it's often poisoned, we called, by other champions that you don't necessarily want very much. And it's somewhat the case here, actually. So the general rule of thumb in my one of my other videos, which I will link, is that if you have around 7 champions that you're missing, I think you have all the other legendaries, you're only missing 7, start considering 10x. Or you've identified a champion like Trunda or Valk that you must have, and you already have some really good legendaries already, right? Like you're not starting with nothing, then it's a special case, but the odds are not in your favor. That is all. So 10x's are very special. Unless you're a mega whale, you don't care, you just want to pull shards every weekend, 10x, 2x, whatever. 10x is not for you. But nonetheless, let's talk about the champions that's on offer. The first one, actually I think I have all of them, is Ursuga Warcaller, otherwise known as Kitchen Mother and Viking Opera Singer. She is absolutely amazing. Why is she amazing? Right? Don't look at her abilities yet. Many epic and rare champions have good abilities and unique abilities. She has excellent base stats. She has 23.5k HP as base. That allows you to scale through artifacts to easily over 100k HP. She has 1.5k base defense, right? Which is really good for a HP champion. She also has 108 base speed. That's really high for a defense tank, meat shield champion, right? So these things play very much towards her favor. Now I'm going to explain why HP is super important now. Because currently in the meta, resistance is dead. Resistance is basically dead. I mean, resistance is useful when you're against mediumly high accuracy champions like Kaimar or Warlord, but they can still bring a Yoshi with accuracy up ahead of them, right? It will just cost them an extra slot, but Yoshi does attack up, so not really. Now, if they do defense down using Madame or Ghostborn, it doesn't really matter what your defense is. If it's 4,000, 5,000, they all get reduced significantly. 60% decreased defense is huge. So health matters. And that's why Ursuga is super good. Now let's go on to her skills, which I know you can all read, but I want to talk about them in context. Decreases damage all allies receive from critical hits by 30%. Now, this is super good because the enemy nuker, will crit, right? Unless they're using some other mechanism, which is super, super rare. And this champion will receive that damage instead. So this champion is expected to receive, it's almost like an ally protect, 30% of everyone else's damage. So Ursuga has to have a large HP pool. If she dies too early, then the problem is everyone's not protected, right? So that's number one. Bottoms up is a huge ability. Places 50% ally protection on all allies, except her, of course, and places 25% strengthened on herself. Now, if it placed on everyone, it will be crazy. 3-turn cooldown. If she gets to use this, the battle will go on for a significantly longer time. Another amazing ability, attacks all enemies, hits pretty hard. Places 30% crit damage debuff, a decreased attack debuff on attack champion, effectively high attack champions, and decreased speed and decreased defense on non-attack champions, support or defensive nukers. This, if it lands and the enemy doesn't have block debuffs or resist, basically nullifies their attack. And A1, which can be triggered through either a normal attack or deterrence mastery or retribution mastery, attacks one enemy, basically has 60% chance to block active skills. Ouch. Yeah. So the way I've built her is that I've built her over 110k HP. Ideally, this is higher. 3.6, almost 3.7k defense. That's fine in case they decreased defense wears off. That's reasonable. Okay. She rarely dies when I'm defending. 217 speed, can be a bit higher. 207 accuracy, enough to debuff non-resist champions. She wears, for example, the Guardian set, which further absorbs 10% of all damage from allies and heals 10% every turn. So she has a massive base and HP pool, right? So 10% is good. And then she also has your standard Immortal, which heals another 3% every turn. So she is fantastic, and she pairs really well, as you know, with Siphi and Duchess, which is made famous by Mac Chan and some of my later videos. Because they also heal per turn, right? And place shields and protect each other. So they work really well. Okay, so Asuga, if you're going to pull for this 10x, I would say Asuga might be the only champion you might consider. The second one, funny enough, is very similar to Asuga, is Helior, but far less good. Helior, as you can see, the base HP is 18k. That is about 20% less than Asuga. Similar defense. After all, he is a defense champion, and he has an interesting passive that is somewhat similar. Whenever an ally has 2 or more debuffs is attacked, this champion absorbs 30% of damage. So Asuga was a crit. Crit is more common than having 2 debuffs. 2 debuffs can come from Madame, like decreased defense, decreased attack. But if one of them doesn't land, you don't absorb any of the damage. If they only have decreased defense, like for example from Ghostborn or some other champion, Helior passive doesn't do anything. So it's more conditional, harder conditions. That's number 1. Number 2 is transfers all debuffs from allies to target enemy, then attacks the enemy with default skill, turns all resistance to accuracy. This looks good on paper. The problem is here, again, if you build him to be high resistance, which you need so that he doesn't get locked out by Warlord or Kaimar or some other CC or like Hegemon, this skill makes sense. But if you build him with resist chest and resist banner, you're not going to have very much high HP to absorb everyone's damage. He will die so quickly if everyone transfers 30% of their damage to Helior with only an 18k base HP, right? His A2 is one of the worst A2s. Attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 20% of the damage inflicted, defense-based damage. His damage isn't great, and 20% is one of the lowest conversions from damage to shield in the game. If you think about Miscreated Monster, it's 25%. If you think about Sonic, it's 30%. And they're HP champions. So this defense damage is low. You almost have to set him up really high for like increased defense, enemy decreased defense, and still the shield is, you can barely see it. You can only see the shield icon. It's really bad. And finally, he increases defense, which is each consecutive A1. Doesn't really matter. I mean, PvE, maybe, clan boss, maybe, but I don't know. Definitely not PvP. I mean, on paper, he looks like he could complement Asuga Warcaller and work together, but in reality, no, he's really weak. I've got him, so I'm not talking random rubbish. So here he is. I spent 15 sacreds building him, getting him, building him. 94k HP, 3.8k defense. One speed is really low. I just wanted him to take a hit. I used Immortal and Stalwart because he just died way too easily, right? So now I have HP and HP everywhere, HP, just to get him not even to 100k total health, right? Super hard, but the graphics is insane. I really like it. This sun kind of face shield is really nice. It's a shame. I think if they change his base stats to be closer to Asuga, it could work, right? It could work. He needs a redesign already. Oh, maintenance. Oh dear. Okay, the next one's Abyss. Abyss that I also do have. I don't know how many Abysses I have. Let's have a look. By faction, so Sacred Order. 1, 2. Only 2 Abyss. Wow, I'm blessed. They recently fixed her so that when she gets revived, she's not got a pink look hue. That's it. Exciting, huh? Abyss is a strange one. She has this unique ability that attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted is proportional either this champion's attack or the target's defense or attack, whichever is higher. Deals extra 30% crit damage if the target attack is highest. Ignores 30% of the target's defense if the target's defense is highest. Now the problem with this is you need the enemy to have really high defense. That could come about mainly through the defense up buff. For example, Seeker, passive triggers, but she's force, so she'll weak hit spirit champions like Duchess. And she doesn't do that much damage from testing if the enemy just has normal defense or has defense down. So it's almost as if she is really suitable for some future content where the PvE boss or PvE waves are immune to defense down and they have really high defense and you can't strip them for some reason. She'll be mega good. She hits super hard. But other than that, not really. And a Force Nuker isn't meta in Arena right now because of the abundance of spirit defense champions. So unfortunately, I don't think you should be going for her in any kind of current scenario. Now, Elder Skark, which is here. I've got 2, I think, Elder Skarks. He is interesting. He hits super hard on this ability. Attacks one enemy 3 times, places an extra hit for each buff or debuff on the target, can place up to 3 extra hits. Nice. Places a HP burn debuff for 2 turns and a True Fear debuff for 1 turn on all enemies if this attack places all 3 extra hits. Steals all the buffs from the target after the attack. This hits super hard. 6 hitter. This buffs himself and provokes legendary champions. It's kind of interesting. And then he receives less damage from legendary champions, right? It's interesting. He can hit really hard. I've recently heard that he's really good for clan boss, like trying to break world records. He's really good in faction wars because of the control using fear or true fear and HP burn and hits really hard. My recommendation for him is that I wouldn't go for him on a 10x. If you happen to get him, it's not a bad thing. Build him for faction wars, if nothing else, right? But I wouldn't go for him on a 10x, that's for sure. So it's a pass, it's a hard pass, but it's not a bad champion. The other champions that are on offer include Godseeker Iniri here. She is, I wouldn't say she's meta, but she's like second tier meta in the sense that you can get her to work because she has this amazing passive. which is if an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, preempts the hit and instantly places a revive on death on them. So it's kind of like an auto revive immediately without waiting for a turn, which is really nice. Increase the amount of healing allies receive by 10%. So, you know, she works well in certain combos, like with Siphi Rotos or something like this, when you try to kill Rotos and suddenly comes back to life. Pretty annoying. Can work. Not a bad champion if you happen to get her, which I recently did. This card is what, Bannerlord? Yeah, here it is. He's a recent contributor to a fusion, right? Passive fills this champion's turn with 15 whenever they are attacked by an enemy under provoke. Okay, so he better provoke, right? Increase defense and increase attack buff on all allies. So I think he's only the second champion to be able to do this. The only other one is Legendary Fusion, right? Attacks all enemies, has 50% chance of provoke. So 75 then. That's rubbish. There's no point looking at this, right? 75% is not good. Armina. Oh, what is she? She's like barbarian, right? Okay, she's not that new, but she was one of the newer champions a while back. Fills this champion turn to 10% each time an enemy receives the stun debuff. Okay. It decreases the turn to all enemies by 20%, has a 75% chance of placing stun, 100% when booked. For one turn, our enemies who have their turn meters fully depleted. That's a hard ass. Fully depletion is not easy. Unless she has a skill that fully depletes things. No, I mean, too gimmicky and too conditional. And a hard condition at that. No. Okay. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Who is Mordecai? I swear he's Demon Spawn. How is he not Demon Spawn? He can't be an orc. It's not an orc name. Not a Skinwalker. Not a lizard. Not an Ogryn tribe. I am behaving like a really good content creator now. I mean, what the? It's not. It's definitely not. What am I missing here? This is so weird. It's Demon Spawn, right? Am I just not seeing things this morning? I was thinking of him, but who is Mordecai? It's not a Dwarven name. It's not a Shadow King name. I am mega confused. It's not a Oh, it could be one of these. Yeah, it's him. The guy who's actually like scary. Doesn't look very Sacred Order, does he? I mean, looks Demon Spawn or like he's okay, right? Because he does HP burn. Has 75% chance, 100% when fully booked of HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This is good. Places the increased attack. This is bad. If you're doing Spider, you don't want increased attack. You want to let them burn. You don't want to boost your champions if any of them are attack based. Has a 75% chance of decreasing turn meters of all enemies by 15%. Feels that's nice. It's like a mini Lysandra. That's good. Accuracy, nice. Attacks one enemy, has 30% chance of decreasing the target's HP, target's turn meter by 10%. Has a 60% instead of target 60, 75. It's okay. It's okay. It's an A1, so it's not that bad. I mean, good. It's actually really good. Like, no wonder people say use him for Spider. One of the best epic champions, apart from Achak, for Spider, right? I'm so sorry it took me so long to find Mordecai. I don't know. I just don't use him because I have so many amazing HP burn champions, like 6 Tyrants, got Ignatius, lots of things. But he's good. I mean, if I didn't have any legendaries and I needed to do Spider and I didn't have Achak, I would use him. He's pretty good. Him and Achak would work together, I guess. That's it. Sorry guys for the long video. I really didn't mean it. Over and out. Hope you have a good 10x. The portal's already lit up. Hope it doesn't bait you. My advice, see what shard offers are on, buy the ones which have really good value, and save for 2x or better 10x. Over and out.